right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar, and apparently I was just reminded by Ziggy that, I forgot the WD-40, and my chair is making all sorts of noise this morning. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Yep, I forgot. I forgot the WD-40. Ziggy just reminded me. Randall thought that was a squeaky toy. I know it sounded like a squeaky toy, didn't it? I'm gonna have to go out. I know. I mean, it's in my garage. I know exactly what shelf it's on too, and I just haven't gone over there to grab it. So I'll do that today while I'm bored, because as you know, there's probably going to be at some point there's going to be absolutely nothing going on. So I'll run out there and do it. I actually have a I have a few things I need to do anyway to this chair. Okay, you guys are curious what New Zealand pair I shorted. I shorted the New Zealand yen. Oh, did I say New Zealand pair? I meant yen pair, but you guys got it. I shorted the New Zealand yen. Now, I know the RBNZ does meet this week, and I'm fine with that. Okay, but what you'll notice here is the New Zealand yen is in a bearish wedge pattern. Okay, and I'm shorting it into the 618 retracement. You see the 618 retracement right here at 82. I've already shorted a little bit, and I'm adding some to it, because if you look at the you look at all the dollar pairs right now, the one currency pair that's up the most is the Kiwi out of all the dollar pairs. You notice that, right? Okay, so you have the Kiwi dollar, it's up 56 pips. Dollar yen's up 27 pips, and I'm like, well, okay. If the New Zealand yen is up 57 pips and the US dollar Japanese yen's up 26 pips, and that means the Kiwi yen is and was the most explosive currency pair overnight of the yen pairs. So as you can see, we're approaching the 618 retracement, probably some support up here and trendline resistance. I'm selling a little bit here. I'm adding a little bit more should we get to 82. I'm only up 5 pips right now. Okay, because I'm short at 81.77, but I am going to add if we get to 82. So just letting you guys know, and there's, I mean, I can sell more yen pairs up here too. I just haven't done so yet. Doesn't mean I won't. By the end of the day, I might be short every yen pair. Okay, but I'm going to be looking for my entries throughout the course of the day. So let's go into the majors, and let's start with the euro dollar and see where we're at. So the euro is up on the day, and we did bounce. Okay, if you remember last week, 108.20, huge support, right? So the low on Friday was at 108.15. We're actually up. We've been as high as 108.60. And we're probably coming into some pretty key support. So let's get rid of all this stuff that we drew last week. Let's get rid of that. Let's zoom in on the hourly and see where we're at. Okay. So you can see this, you know, I guess you're going to kind of see where we were rejected. Roughly, that's where we're at. And looks like to me that if the euro can get above the highs, overnight highs, that might create a little bit of a squeeze. So 108.65 will be a resistance. We might break it this morning while we're sitting here. Possible. Then 1.0815, because if we take out this support, okay, it's 108.20, but we went as low on Friday as 108.15. And actually, you know what? That's not true. The bid just disappeared, so it's actually 108.20. Okay, let me take this out. If we break 108.20, that's going to be very bearish. Now, before you get bullish the euro, because I know what you're thinking. I know exactly what you're thinking right now. You're like, Blake, look, here's the euro dollar. We know this is support. We're only 20 pips off the support. Why not buy the euro here? Sorry, I just read a comment from Jared in our chat room. I almost laughed my ass off. Um, why do you think I'm a little hesitant about buying the euro? I mean, I see the risk. Obviously, you can buy the euro here and you can put your stops below, like let's say 108.10, and just go with it. What do you think prevents me from buying the euro this morning? What's the biggest problem I have, or we have right now? Well, Eric says counter trend. Okay, I can go with that. But what's a bigger problem? The one of the biggest inverse relationships in the markets, especially when there's nothing going on, is gold and the dollar. Now, you can argue that sometimes gold and the dollar go up the same time or go down the same time, and that's usually um, during periods of like risk aversion. You'll see gold and the dollar go up at the same time, which maybe the easing of risk aversion last week maybe created the gold weakness and the dollar strength. But listen, gold and the dollar are pretty inversely related. So with gold breaking lower, I'd be a little hesitant buying the euro. That's my biggest hesitation is gold. That doesn't mean that the euro can't go higher. I'm just saying that it's your biggest risk being long the euro right now or being short the dollar is that gold is actually moving lower. Okay. All right. So now if we break 108.20, that's a big problem. And what that's going to also do is probably take us down towards support, which will be 107.50. Let me see something else here. Yeah. So we don't have to obviously deal with 107.50 right now. That would be this trend line. Here, let me do this. Okay. We don't have to deal with this support right now, but if we break through 108.20, obviously 107.50 comes into play. Listen, we're in a range environment, but if the euro breaks through 108.10, that's probably going to change pretty quickly. And we're going to start being pretty bearish here. Let's go take a look at the cable. So the cable's underperforming today. I'm not too sure why, but it is. I do not have a euro pound short order anymore at 70 pence, but I wouldn't mind being short at 70 pence if I can get it. We can talk about that later. But here's the pound. Okay. 155. Remember, we had this support from last week. How important this was at 155.50. See how we were testing it, so we can do this. You see, obviously, very, very critical support through here, right? Okay, so that means that low is very important today. 155, let's just call it 155.35. 155.35. Very important support because if the euro breaks through 108.20, that cable is going to start breaking down too. So 156 and a quarter. Well, I mean that's if we get up there. I'm just going to say any move back up to 156.50. Well, I have to do the 156.75. I have to make the assumption that we can get all the way up there, but I doubt it. Just extend these lines through here, right? 156.75. Okay, we are in a range. And let's go take a look at the Swissy. So I bought a little bit more Swissy this morning. I bought it at 96.24, a little bit higher than where it's at right now. As long as we stay above 95.40, we remain bullish. Now, let's take a look at something more intraday. I want to say something like this. Let's imagine based on what I'm seeing here, we can actually drop all the way down to 95.60. But I would venture, and let me get rid of this just because I don't think we need this right now. Because you guys got the gist of it that I think we're moving higher. Let's remove that. Okay. So now any dip, if we can, I think if we can get a dip to 95.80, you got to use that as an opportunity to be a buyer. Frankly, 90. So I'm gonna write 95.40.9580. Okay, that's support, and resistance is at 96.40. But I think with the fall in gold, you've got to be using that to your advantage. You've got to be able to look to sell Swiss francs when you can, with gold so weak. All right, let's take a look at the dollar yen. Now, once again, the resistance here is key. We wrote it down last week. It's just as important this week. That comes in at 124.40. Key resistance. Support 123.70. Okay, let's go into the dollar Canadian. I'm still along the dollar Canadian, and we are, keep in mind, we are just, I mean, the high here is 30.60, 30.64, okay? We went as high as 130.06. So obviously 130 and then 130.65. So I'll have to do one We're bullish, but we're going right into resistance. Support. Let's see. I mean, obviously, this is not. I mean, we're not even. I mean, we're not even getting dips down to 29. If we get a dip down to 129, I mean, that are stuck on the short side, they just want to cover. I mean, I can't imagine anyone being short the dollar Canadian, but that gap higher was so big and so fast that 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 how many people are stuck on the short side of the dollar Canadian still, or how many people are shorting into the strength, going, "Oh my God, this thing's not even going to stop." 1.29 is support. Let's go over to the Kiwi. So the New Zealand obviously is stronger this morning. I think one of the I'm not too sure why the Kiwi is stronger. Frankly, I have no idea. I don't think there's any data that came out overnight. Gold is down, so I look at gold being down, and um, with gold being down, why is the Kiwi even stronger? I have no idea, and that's one of the reasons why I shorted the New Zealand yen uh, this morning. Now, I have not shorted the Kiwi dollar, and the Kiwi looks like we might have a little bit more upside until we get to this 160 or 66.20. Let's figure that out. Obviously, that's 161% extension. Then that's the reason why we got support there. But high to low, 50% retracement comes in at 66.20. So if you want to short the Kiwi dollar, 0.6620 would be a great resistance level to be on the short side of the Kiwi. And you know what? If we get up to 66.20, I might actually short the Kiwi too. Support is obviously down at 65. Okay, let's go to the Aussie. So the Aussie dollar is underperforming the Kiwi at this time. Okay, and you know what? I'm gonna do this with the Aussie. Okay, so here's your Aussie dollar, and I think probably the way we can look at the Aussie right now, it's bearish, obviously, but I think we can look at it something like this, right? Nice downsloping channel. We're obviously bearish, and there's not a whole lot supporting the Aussie right now. I guess we should also do this really quick, just so you guys know where they're at. Myself too. Low, high, low. Okay. So once we start getting down towards the 72-cent level, then we have to start paying a lot of attention to this support. Okay. But here's your 4 hour. And I think this channel is probably a pretty good channel, a good channel to trade against, meaning that if you get a rally up towards 74.60 from where we're currently at, probably it would be a great place to be on the short side. For today, 74 cents, 74 cents, and if we can get up there, 74 cents. So 73 and a quarter for now, and 74 cents. But you want to sell into strength. Same with the kiwi versus just kind of shorting it here. You want to sell in any strength that we get. All right. So there you go. There's your resistance there, and I think we'll take a little bit of a break. When we come back, we'll do the dollar index. We'll take a look at the uh, Swedish krona, Norwegian krona, and don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. So let's finish up with the dollar index. Okay, we're going to finish up with the dollar index, and we're going to go from the dollar index to the look at the Swedish krona. Okay, so the dollar index. Let's zoom in a little bit here, and you can see we're approaching. I mean, I think some pretty key resistance, and you can see the dollar is trying to hold its breakout point. And overall, it's still pretty strong. And also keep in mind that with gold, as bearish as it is, I assume that the dollar is going to continue to grind higher. Okay, but that doesn't mean that we're not approaching some pretty key resistance. So the 786 retracement comes in around 99, and that's from the very high of the dollar index. Okay, but I'm actually going to be more focused on. Let's get rid of this fib level. Okay. Okay, the 127% extension, I guess it comes right around the same place. That's at 98.80. That's of the high in May to the low. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Okay, to the low here in June. So let's do a little bit of a zoom from the actual high. Okay, so that 786 and that 127% extension all come in right around the same spot. So that's going to come in at 90. Let's just call it 90, 98.80. Okay, that's going to be really critical resistance for the dollar index. Support will probably be today's lows, which will be 97.74. 97.74, and we are still, with the dollar index as a whole, we're still in a pretty big range, but we're pushing higher outside of the resistance here. Okay, let's go over to the peso. So here's the peso, 15.95. I mean, look at this breakout in the peso. I don't know if I would chase that move higher. For those of you that trade the peso, let me remove this. Okay. The 161% extension comes in at, on the daily chart, comes in at 16. It's probably where we're going. Um, I'm not going to put it on the bias chart right now, but I would think that's key resistance. Oh, look at this. This is a shooting star right here. This 4-hour candle's got 53 minutes left. This looks like this looks like it's going to come back down like that. If you guys trade the peso, something to pay attention to. Take a look at the Norwegian krona. We're trying to bust higher, trying desperately. I don't know why. What is this? Why is that there? I don't even know why that's there. Let me remove it. Oh, I know what it is. I'm sorry. That's because that print, that was a bad tick. That's why. So we surpassed the 786, hit it, rejected it, stopped everybody above it, and we're holding above it. Just watch the Norwegian krona. This is one of those. This is one of those pairs that should the euro dollar break below 108.20, you automatically have to turn your attention to the Norwegian krona, probably to the Swedish krona too, because the Swedish krona, now it's coming down right now. Oh wow, we're going to come right into support here. So if you guys buy the, if you guys are trading the US dollar Swedish krona, this is probably a place where you want to be getting long. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I think this is, if you guys, like I said, if you guys get long the US dollar, or you trade the US dollar Swedish krona, this is probably the place where you want to look to be on the long side down here. And, as long as it stays above 860, then you might be playing just a bounce into here. Oh yeah, this is a little mini head and shoulder pattern. Hold on. Look at it. Right? Head, shoulder, shoulder, neckline. Ah, no. Oh yeah. As soon as we get just below 860, you probably want to be on the long side of this. Right? Okay. Let's say 859.50. Because we're in breakout territory, guys. So 8.5950. And resistance at 866.50. Okay. All right, guys. There's your bias chart. I'm going to leave it right here, and let me go into some of your questions. Going in the way back, wow, way back.